She is all about one person, her. Not even Harry. I don't think she cares about him at all. She cares about herself. How much time did she have for this when she was on Suits, when she was doing the Tig, when she was trying to land the ginger from the royal family to marry her? Then there's Harry, who still thinks he's Prince. And hello, you're not. You're not our prince. You're not royalty to us. We don't give a about you at all. In fact, we dislike you greatly, and we really wish you would go back home. None of us even want you to live here. We were praying you would stay in Canada.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle just got hit with something they probably didn't see coming. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are losing it over getting rejected by Nigeria.
This is the most ridiculous. This is the same woman who said, I never even considered my blackness until the British tabloids started to make a thing out of it. Never even. Now she's like, I am Nigeria. Fellow women, hear me roar. I mean, who is she kidding?
Nigeria, the same country they recently embraced as their so-called second home, has basically told them, nope, don't come back. And not in a subtle way either. It was a firm, very public shutdown.
They may not be working royals, but they're working. This was nothing short of a royal-sized event.
So what happened? Why the sudden change of heart? Let's get into it, because this wasn't just a sorry we're busy kind of thing. This was a straight-up rejection from one of Africa's biggest and most powerful countries.
Obviously, this is a huge PR exercise for the couple as they try and regain popularity, and they had that very successful South Africa tour.
Nigeria officially said no to their request for a return visit. Verified sources say Harry and Meghan had reached out, hoping to come back and continue what they called a life-changing trip. But instead of open arms, Nigeria slammed the door. Turns out there were concerns that their previous visit wasn't just about cultural connection like it was made to seem. Some officials felt it had deeper, maybe even disruptive undertones. Back in 2024, Nigeria welcomed them warmly. This time, not even close. This wasn't some tabloid rumor either. This was a calculated, deliberate decision. Insiders say Nigerian officials didn't see any real benefit to another unofficial Sussex visit. No gain, no economic boost, no cultural value, nothing that made it worth doing again. And that says a lot. Many people think this wasn't just about hating on them personally, it's just that Nigeria didn't want to be part of another media moment filled with stage smiles and headline-grabbing handshakes. And here's the thing, this isn't a small deal. Nigeria isn't just any country. It's the most populated nation in Africa, and a major global player. So when they say no thanks, it sends a big message. People are starting to get tired of the whole Sussex show, and Nigeria just made that loud and clear. Let's talk about why Nigeria's rejection stung so much. A big part of the backlash goes back to their first visit. A lot of Nigerians felt it was more for show than substance, something designed to grab headlines rather than build any real connection. And the moment that really set things off, Meghan standing in front of a crowd excitedly announcing that she was 43% Nigerian, thanks to a DNA test she took online.
Also, I'm a little bit fascinated, right? The mother was born in America, the father was born in America, but Meghan is now telling us that she's 43% Nigerian?
It didn't land the way she probably hoped. While some people clapped, many others just weren't buying it. To them, it came off as shallow, like she was reducing a rich cultural identity to a number on a test result.
Right? I mean, you've seen Meghan's dramatic wardrobe changes throughout it, her insisting that this is her country.
Instead of applause, she got side eyes, internet jokes, and criticism from scholars and cultural leaders all over Lagos, Abuja, and beyond. They didn't hold back. They called it ancestral cosplay.
And so you did kind of see a split of public opinion. Many Nigerians were thinking, well, this is a bit of a waste of public money. This is not like we're courting a state that can help us with resources. This is kind of like a faux.
Meghan wore traditional Nigerian clothes, danced at local ceremonies, and smiled for photos with elders. But critics pointed out it all felt more like a costume party than an actual effort to connect. There was little real understanding or respect for Nigeria's deep cultural and historical roots. As one Nigerian historian put it, you can't just claim an African identity when it's convenient for your image.
Allegedly, they're courting Nigeria for a future Invictus Games, but it's just all a bunch of PR. Right? I mean, you've seen Meghan's dramatic wardrobe changes throughout it.
And that wasn't the only issue. Behind the scenes, things were just as messy. According to people familiar with the trip, Nigeria's security services found the visit chaotic. Even though Harry and Meghan were private citizens without any official role, sources say they still expected full-on royal treatment motorcades, VIP suites, press teams, even ceremonial escorts. Basically all the perks without the position. One senior intelligence official said it best. They wanted royal treatment without the titles or the responsibility. It wasn't a state visit. It wasn't even an official tour. It was more like a high-profile media trip, all organized for the cameras. And for many Nigerian officials, it crossed a line. What started as admiration turned into something that felt more like entitlement.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry may no longer be working royals, but their recent trip to Nigeria looked very much like a royal tour of their own.
Harry and Meghan didn't just visit Nigeria, they came with Netflix crews, filmed a glossy feel-good tour, then left. But this time, Nigeria wasn't having it. This rejection isn't just a no to a return trip, it's part of a bigger effort to protect national traditions from being used as props in a celebrity brand story. While they smiled for cameras with a few hand-picked local leaders, many of Nigeria's actual royal families were completely excluded. No invites, no conversations, and definitely no approval. One aide from a Yoruba royal household later accused them of royal cherry-picking, meeting only with people who fit their narrative and skipping over the real cultural gatekeepers.
What sort of absolute cretin would go to these fires in her position and make sure they get on camera?
Another insider didn't sugarcoat it. They called the visit a mockery of what true royal diplomacy looks like. According to them, Harry and Meghan weren't there to truly understand or honor Nigerian culture. They were chasing a version of royalty that looks good on camera while ignoring the real institutions that give it meaning.
She doesn't need to do that. As you and I both well know, if you want to help out, there are ways to make donations and you can keep them anonymous. That's what I do. When I make my donations, I keep them anonymous because I'm not looking for credit.
Behind the scenes, things were already heating up. Several tribal groups quietly sent petitions to Nigeria's powerful people, asking them to block any future visits from Prince Harry and Meghan unless they came through official, respectful channels. No more showing up as self-declared royals or brand figures. They wanted them to come as guests who actually followed the rules. So this wasn't just a polite maybe not this time. It was a clear and firm message. Nigeria saw through the act, and they weren't signing up for a sequel. And this time, Nigeria didn't stay quiet. They didn't sugarcoat it. They said no loud and clear, and the rest of the world heard it. But if Harry and Meghan thought this was just a small hiccup in their travels, they were way off. What followed was a wave of backlash, not just from Nigeria, but from all over. Cultural figures, African royals, and media critics all joined in, and the criticism kept growing. The story being told? This wasn't some sweet goodwill visit, it was, as many put it, a global vanity trip gone sideways. And Nigeria's reaction? That was just the beginning. The consequences were starting to spread far beyond Africa. Let's talk about what Meghan probably thought would be her big emotional moment. Her 43% Nigerian reveal paired with how personal the trip felt to her seemed like PR gold.
But Meghan, of course, did a genealogy test and looked into her heritage and found out that she is almost half Nigerian. And that, I think, has sort of guided them somewhat in wanting to go there and do their photo calls, I understand as well.
Her team jumped on it. They reportedly pitched ideas for a documentary, a memoir chapter, and even an Archwell-branded project meant to empower the African diaspora. But here's the thing, none of those ideas were approved or welcomed by Nigerian leaders or communities. Why? Because the first visit already came off as very self-serving.
And she went there to improve her PR image, and what we really want the two of them to do is just slink off into the ocean on a boat would be fine, and go someplace else.
As Nigerian columnists put it, they brought cameras, not commitment. They left with headlines, not real relationships. It wasn't about making meaningful connections. It was about scoring PR moments.
Royal couple that are there to kind of boost their image. And then you had the other side of the coin, which was, it's great to have them there. They're kind of the Harry and Meghan defense squad, and they're just happy that they've broken off from the royal family and doing their own thing.
So when Nigeria said no to a second visit, it had nothing to do with timing or logistics. It was about principle. Nigeria wasn't interested in being used as a backdrop for Meghan's next branding opportunity. Once the buzz died down, the truth became hard to ignore. Meghan was trying to turn Nigeria, and by extension Africa, into yet another piece of the Archwell empire. But Nigeria wasn't on board with that plan. For years now, Harry and Meghan have been looking for what insiders call a soft throne, a place where they can play royalty without any of the actual work. No duties, no responsibilities, just the perks and the spotlight. After cutting ties with the UK royals, struggling to gain real traction in Hollywood, and losing support from a big chunk of the public, it seemed like they were eyeing Nigeria as a clean slate, a chance to start over. But this time, the world wasn't so quick to play along. Prince Harry and Meghan's visit to Nigeria in 2024 reportedly stirred up quite a bit of tension back home, especially with King Charles III and Prince William, who are said to be absolutely furious. Their 72-hour visit closely resembled a traditional royal tour complete with charity stops, school visits, and speeches, which didn't go unnoticed. Meghan's style choices during the trip even gave a quiet nod to their royal background.
One of us is likely to have a really good day. So if you take anything away from today,
According to royal expert Tom Quinn, some observers saw the whole trip as a strong sign that Harry and Meghan are still embracing their royal roles, despite stepping back from official duties. In an interview with The Mirror, Quinn claimed the King and Prince of Wales were left extremely upset, feeling the couple was sending a message that they're still very much part of the royal scene. He pointed out that the entire trip was packed with moments you'd usually expect from an official royal engagement, saying, "Everything you might expect from an official royal visit was there. The receptions, the visits to schools and charities, to wounded soldiers and the disabled." Quinn also mentioned that their approach through their speeches and overall demeanor seemed carefully crafted to suggest they're still active members of the royal family. Meghan and Harry's speeches and their whole attitude have been designed to give the impression that they are still fully paid-up royals, and William and his father, King Charles, don't like it one bit, he said. He further added that the Duke and Duchess have gone rogue, and their actions might be perceived as an attempt to pull a fast one. He explained that it seems the couple is saying, "We don't need your permission to be working royals. We will do it on our own terms, whenever and wherever we like." Nigeria isn't anyone's playground. According to insiders within the Nigerian community, the decision to deny another visit wasn't rushed or emotional. It was planned and carefully discussed. All the official authorities were all involved before a final call was made. The message was loud and clear. Cultural identity is not a souvenir. This wasn't just a gentle nudge or a polite decline, it was a full-on rejection of entitlement. The idea that someone can just fly into the country, claim ancestral roots, and expect red carpets and flashing cameras? Nigeria wasn't buying it. That mindset was firmly shut down. One senior Nigerian policy expert said it straight, "They're not treated like royalty here, just visitors running a PR tour."
For all sorts of reasons, but the last thing I would do is inject myself into somebody else's suffering for a photo op. It's disgusting. There's something wrong with them. And I think it's totally...
And just when things couldn't get more uncomfortable, there was one more twist. Their visit wasn't coordinated through any of Nigeria's formal systems. No paperwork, no recognition, no alignment with any official channel. In other terms, that's not just unusual, it's a big red flag. The trip appeared completely disconnected from proper protocol, and that matters. Why? Because it made them look like outsiders trying to use their public image to enter a space that requires cultural sensitivity and clear boundaries. They came in with no official purpose, no formal role, and no approval from the right people. And everyone noticed, especially those in Nigeria.
That's why she was there. She wanted to get on camera. She's really thinking at every opportunity she can improve her terrible reputation, and people finally love her as they're supposed to. I don't understand why they don't.
Behind the scenes, the talk is growing louder. Many people say it was a relief that Nigeria said no to another round. There were already concerns about how the visit might have been misinterpreted or criticized, especially if it looked like they were stepping into areas they weren't invited into. Without official backing, and with concerns rising, shutting things down wasn't just safe, it was necessary. Harry and Meghan found themselves in the worst kind of spotlight, exposed, unsupported, and clearly not welcome. Their international charm seems to be fading fast, and while Nigeria was the tipping point, this isn't just about one country. Across Africa, more and more voices are pushing back against what some experts are calling celebrity tourism. The pattern's familiar. Wealthy public figures fly in, deliver heartfelt speeches, pose for powerful photos, then leave with new content for their brand, but no meaningful follow-up for the local people.
They can do what they like, but I don't like them doing it as an unofficial renegade royal family. And the truth is, the real royal family right now, back here in England, are going through an awful lot of turmoil.
Nigerian writer and sociologist Dr. Femi Dena didn't sugarcoat it in a recent interview. He said they show up full of pride, little humility, and expect applause wherever they go. According to him and many others, that time is over.
You've had the Duke and Duchess of Montecito running around like a rival royal family, trashing their family, trashing the monarchy, but wanting to exploit their royal titles. I think it stinks.
In fact, multiple Pan-African cultural groups have now spoken up. They're asking for proper rules and clear expectations when it comes to how global celebrities behave during visits to traditional or official communities. Their message is clear: either show real respect for the culture or don't come at all. Many critics have been even more direct, pointing to Meghan's trip to Nigeria as a classic example of outsiders trying to gain from cultural ties without giving back. This moment shows a big shift. Where Harry and Meghan once relied on public support to help boost their image, they're now facing a growing wall of doubt, frustration, and full-on pushback. Nigeria's refusal to host them again wasn't just a quiet, behind-the-scenes decision. It was a bold statement that's likely to be the first of many. What started as a picture-perfect PR trip has turned into a warning story, one that highlights the risks of crossing cultural lines, underestimating protocol, and treating other countries like photo backdrops. Nigeria's decision didn't just make headlines, it marked a shift in how these visits will be seen moving forward.
How do the Nigerians feel about this? All the photographs or the videos online show beaming smiles, a sort of red carpet being rolled out, dancing, happiness, hugging.
Here's where it gets even more interesting. While Meghan and Harry were busy turning their Nigeria trip into future content, maybe a documentary, a few memoir pages, or some feel-good specials, something big was happening behind the scenes. Netflix was quietly pulling away. Even though the couple hoped to turn their visit into a powerful, emotional story about connection and culture, Netflix didn't budge. No trailer, no teaser, no green light. And now it makes sense. Insiders say Netflix had serious concerns.
No, the world's biggest victims right now are the Duke and Duchess of Netflix. And don't take my word for it.
There were questions about permissions, local approvals, and most importantly, worries that the couple may have given off the wrong image. And just like that, what started as a content opportunity turned into a full-on media problem. They also quietly canceled plans for a heritage-themed promo that was already in the works. The message? They want no part of any new controversy, especially one that could explode online. And if Netflix, their biggest partner so far, is stepping away, that's more than a red flag. That's a loud siren. Things are clearly not going the way they hoped. But the cold shoulder doesn't stop there. People in the entertainment world are starting to back off too. A talent agent in LA didn't sugarcoat it. They get attention, sure, but it's the wrong kind. People are tired of the drama. In an industry that thrives on image, no one wants to be linked with something that's seen as unpredictable and full of conflict. Even some of Meghan's early supporters have gone quiet. Those once excited to be seen with her at big events, not saying much anymore. And it's not just social circles. A publicist who used to work closely with the couple has now moved on to other clients, putting distance between themselves and a brand that's starting to feel like too much trouble. But here's the biggest hit. It's coming from the business world. Word is, several brand executives are now calling Harry and Meghan uninsurable. Basically, too risky to support, too uncertain to sponsor, and just not worth it. Once seen as a global power couple, they're now being used as an example of what happens when hype fades and headlines turn sour. Right now, it seems Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have landed themselves in some hot water. Their public image has been under a microscope for quite a while. And not too long ago, there were even headlines swirling about the possibility of the couple losing their royal titles. So hearing a no from Nigeria might have felt like another problem, especially for two people who aren't exactly fans of rejection.
And I think what King Charles should do, he should just strip them of the titles. Let them go off and be, celebrities, that's fine. But don't do it in the name of our royal family.
Harry and Meghan are definitely facing a lot of backlash. Their every move seems to be under intense public scrutiny, and many people aren't happy with how they've handled their roles since stepping back from official duties. But here's the thing. Does all this attention actually help fix their image, or does it make the gap between them and the public even wider? For a lot of people, the drama around them overshadows anything positive they try to do, leaving folks wondering what their real motives are. By the end of the day, Harry and Meghan's story is still being written. But one thing's for sure, they've become some of the most talked about and controversial figures in recent royal history. So what do you think? Is the public being too hard on them? Or have Harry and Meghan brought some of this backlash on themselves? Tell us in the comments below.